Want to upgrade, you should talk to one of these guys.
Hi. I already got my ticket.
इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
Alright.
Meet and greet.
Anything else? That's it.
Greet.
Yeah. I do need to go for that.
For whom?
Casey Neistat.
Okay. Last one.
Oh, really? Wow.
And just be on time. Casey's I think at
Three.
Three. Yeah.
Yes.
Just be on
All right.
time.
Sure. Thank you. Today I'm at the special event called VidXB. Just heard about the event probably like over a week ago. They got someone special which I like to meet, and apparently he's here today. It's a surprise. I checked the event agenda for all other activities. They're pretty good as well. So I'm just gonna stay here for a whole day. Right here is the Creators Lounge. I think that's what they call it. That's Creators Workshop. It's written over there. I'm probably gonna stay here for the first 4 sessions, and the 4th one is one which I'm here for. It starts in 5 minutes, sort of. So I'm gonna go up there and take a seat.
It's important to do something you really enjoy doing, because then you become better. Then you keep practicing and doing it better and filming it better.
Are we going to sit down? Can I do this?
Absolutely, yeah.
Here?
Right.
Here?
Yeah. Can I get one of those
Here.
as well?
Here.
Right here.
He needs to come here.
Okay. This was characterized to me as a fireside chat, so I was expecting a small fire, but...
Well, I was just told like 5 minutes ago, somebody walked up and said, I hope this whole structure stays in place because it's packed for Casey's
That is
fireside
not
chat.
encouraging.
I mean, it will be great for our vlogs, you and me.
Great content.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Good clickbait.
Listen, I just want to quickly start out by saying today's Friday, and in the UAE, on Fridays it's always family day. And if you miss lunch, your mom like chops your head off. I told her that I have something to do today, and when I told her it was Casey.
It's lunchtime right now.
Yeah, I know.
Is everyone here going to lose their...
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys.
When you're in a certain industry, like when I worked for the government for some time, and the epitome of working for the government was meeting His Highness Sheikh Haonan, and I did that. I also was in the food industry, and the epitome was meeting Anthony Bourdain. I did that, and I just turned into a YouTuber, and the epitome is meeting the godfather of YouTube, Casey Neistat.
Very kind of you to say.
what is the most important thing that you need to focus on, and what you need to do to kind of get to a level where you are a consistent content creator? What kind of advice do you have for newbies?
I think it's only ever one thing, and that's sort of that's the quality of your content. I think the things that people point to that are like having good cameras and good equipment and proper edits and consistency, I think all of that stuff sits way in the back seat compared to what's out front, which is making content that really, really matters. But I think at the core, you have to tell a story really well. And I think when you look at a platform with 1.3 billion users, the only story that you should really be focusing on is your story. So my advice always is just focus on telling a story really well. In order to tell a story well, you have to know the story well. And one story that everybody knows better than anyone else is your own story.
I want to talk a little bit about distribution. You know, distribution of content has always been, and I think continues to be a little bit of an issue in this region. We're a region that basically imports everything. And I think YouTube might be the thing that's going to break that. You know, we're starting to see a lot of creators. We might be able to export some content, you know, finally. And you're in control of your creative content, but also where it goes, how it goes, who it gets to. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the most frustrating thing for me when I worked in TV and when I worked in films was that you have your creativity, which is like you and your idea, and then you have your audience. And in between those two facets are like producers and channel heads and studio heads and all these filters between the creative and the audience. And I hated that. I hated all the politics associated with that. And I think that, you know, my work with Samsung is never about the device, ever. I don't even have the device in any of the work that I do with Samsung. It's always about a much, much bigger idea, because you can have a relationship with an idea. You can't have a relationship with a device. So I think for brands to turn to individuals is a very natural progression. They can't develop a relationship like that, so why not work with an individual who represents a lot of the same values and build a relationship that way? That said, it's completely uncharted territory. It's all new. And I think at the end of the day, it means just incredible opportunities for everybody in this room who has a camera in their hand to turn something that is a passion into something that can be a career. Because these companies need you, and they need your ability to communicate with an audience in order for them to be relevant. And that, to me, is a very, very exciting opportunity.
I saw this interview you did with Lewis Howes, and you say hunger is a powerful motivation for you, certainly in your situation when you were growing up and everything like that. What do we do? Where do we dig? Where do we get motivation for content creators here?
You know, I don't know. I don't know about motivation for content creators, but I know about just ambition in general. And I remember when I moved to New York City, I was 19 years old, 20 years old, I had nothing. I was like a dirt poor kid with no education. And I met all these rich kids, and I idolized them. I was like, God, they have trust funds, they have money, they have all of these resources. All of these worries that I have that I don't get to sleep over because I don't know how I'm going to eat tomorrow, they don't have, and I was so jealous of these people. And many of them I then watched grow up, and we grew up together, and I watched them grow up and to really struggle to find a purpose in life because they didn't have to. They didn't need to find a purpose. They didn't need to go out there and fight to find a job. They didn't need to go out there and just like take no prisoners and work through the night because their survival was on the line. They could always be like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I've got a trust fund that'll be there in the morning. And as I found success, that jealousy or envy that I once had for them is now turned into pity. I feel bad for them. And I thank God I wasn't born rich. I'm very happy that I had to struggle so much early in my career because that's my source of motivation. I know what happens if I stop or go easy. And it sucks. It's terrible. I never want to go back there. So I'll always be fighting. So in the absence of that, I don't know. I don't know because that's all I've ever known.
I want to end with one last question because I think our time is our time up. Getting close? Yeah? So, you know, obviously when I told people, they're on the, suddenly us Arabs are like, on time? Come on!
And I see YouTube as this gigantic unifying power that can show us that, like, through all that divisiveness, through all that political and all of those other versions of divisiveness that exist all over the world, that communication can fix all of that. If we know that like we're all just the same kind of people struggling with the same kind of things, and animosity comes from a lack of understanding, and YouTube can be that bridge to fix that understanding. So that's what I encourage others to do, is focus on telling your story as authentically and as truthfully as you possibly can.
Fantastic. Casey Neistat, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The man that inspired a lot of us to join YouTube, the man that inspired a lot of us to just be ourselves and chase our dreams and chase our stories and just create what we have in our minds, in our hearts, to create our own vision. Whenever you're watching a Casey vlog, there's always a story. Casey is a storyteller before he's a filmmaker. It's never about the tools, it's never about the equipment, it's never about how expensive your camera is. It is how rich your story is. And this is the story of Casey Neistat. Can you show him a little bit of Dubai warm love? Make some noise!
Thanks for having me all the way out here. What did you just say? New movie coming out very soon. I'm actually going to make some fun videos while I'm here too. Dubai is one of my favorite cities in the world to make videos in. What I want to share with you today is a little bit of my story, and a part of my story that is hard for me to share in my videos, but it's easy for me to share when I'm here speaking to you in person. And that is kind of like the crazy, unconventional journey that has been my career and my life and everything that brought me to being a YouTuber. You know, of all the places I've ever been, I've never seen such of like a vibrant community of aspiring creators as I've seen here in Dubai. It kind of went like this. Ready? When I was a little kid, I always felt like I was frustrated because I was never being heard. Like I never had the tools to share what I was feeling, share what I was thinking, to share my perspective. And when I got my first camera, when I got my first computer and I made my first video, it was this gigantic sense of relief. Because finally I was able to express myself in a way that was more effective, in a way that enabled me to be heard. So I put that video on the internet, I think on a Thursday, and by Friday it had been seen by 5 million people. And keep in mind, this is when my channel was non-existent, it was very, very small. And I knew it had struck a chord when Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York City at the time, had to respond to that video in a press conference. Imagine this guy, he's a very, very important person, and he had to respond to that stupid video. Additionally, like the New York Times called me, New York Times, one of the most prestigious media outlets in the world called me, and they offered me a job, an opportunity to make videos with them because of that silly video. And again, I made that video just because I was frustrated. But it was the act of sort of sharing my frustration and sharing my feelings and sharing my perspective via video that was interesting to them. They wanted to sort of leverage that skill set, that understanding. I wanted to end my talk today with something special. I have this video that I've been working on forever. It's a video I have not put on YouTube. It's a video nobody's ever really seen, but I thought it might be really appropriate to share here with you guys. What do you think? That's so much awesome. Right, let me tell you about this movie. So, what this movie is basically 3 minutes that explains everything I just talked about for the last 20 minutes. It's 3 minutes that, for me, tells the whole story of me finding my voice as a YouTuber. It's 3 minutes of me starting at A and getting all the way to B. And it walks a path in a way that, when I look back at it, I can point to this video and I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I meant. There is one thing, though, that I'm realizing as I'm up here talking to you. I think there may be 1 and maybe 2 profanities in this video. Is that okay? Slightly less enthusiasm? Okay. Okay. I appreciate it. You want to see it? Yeah! Ready? Okay, guys in the back, play video number 2 or whatever it's labeled. Go. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a filmmaker. To me, there was no higher artistic achievement than that. I watched movies all the time. I watched all the movies. I bought this book, and the Oscars were my Super Bowl. What would I wear? What would I say in my acceptance speech? Would I do Roberto Benigni, pull a Sally Fields, or play it straight like Hanks?
Thank you.
More than anything, I just wanted to make great films. I wanted the big cameras. I wanted the big crew. I wanted to work with the best actors. I wanted to read the best scripts, create locations. I wanted all of that. I wanted to be the version of the filmmaker that I thought was the only version of the filmmaker, the ones with the fucking bow ties. That's what I thought it meant to tell stories. See, if you want to be a writer, all you need is a stack of paper and a pencil. If you want to be a painter, you need a brush and a canvas. You can be the next Picasso. But when I was a teenager, my filmmaking fantasies were at their peak. If you want to be a filmmaker, you need resources, education. This is why I wanted to be a filmmaker. Shows, none of that shit. The more time I spent chasing down the facade of success, the less creating I was actually doing.
How can I go back?
In fact, it was after winning the biggest award of my career that I just said, fuck it. I just want to make internet videos. I'm going to make a movie every day. A proper daily vlog. I'm psyched. Now, we live in the future. And chances are there's a camera in your pocket that's good enough for the big screen. But you don't need the big screen. 200 people might show up in a movie theater, but put it online, millions. Find an audience, a small audience, slightly less small audience. Find your audience. Tell your story, start a conversation, get that idea out of your head and into your video. Make again. Make something terrible, make it slightly better. Make it a lot better. Make it great. Finally, films, movies, videos, a powerful form of storytelling that's ever existed. Something that used to be entirely out of reach finally. Filmmaking is now ours. Filmmaking is a sport. This is the new party, and now, everyone's invited. Was that good? Can I put that on YouTube? So I wanna wrap this up by saying to the younger people in the audience, it seems like forever, and all you've ever known is that to create on your phone or to create on a camera and post online and share with the world, this is the new normal. But the reality is we're at an inflection point right now. The whole world of media is changing. The whole world of communication is changing. 5, 10 years ago, it looked nothing like this. 5, 10 years ago, none of you had the power to reach the world the way you have the power today. And it's going to change again. Like with this turning point is going to go around the corner, and what's on the other side, I doubt it's going to be as interesting or as exciting. It's harder to succeed today on YouTube than it was to succeed yesterday on YouTube. There's 1.3 billion creators on that platform. And in a couple of years, it's going to be 2.3 billion creators. We're headed into something where it's only become more and more competitive. But right now is an inflection point. Right now is an opportunity to find your voice and find your place in the world of media like there's never been before. And I would further that by saying the world needs you. And the world needs individuals sharing their voices and sharing their stories now more than ever. Guys, Your Highness, thank you very much for having me.
I'm sorry, I just noticed.
I can't believe you weren't recording all of it. That was amazing. That'll never happen again. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. I just came out of the VidXP, and I don't really believe that this actually happened. I met Casey Neistat. Really? If it's not because of these pictures, I won't believe myself. I was in his workshop, I was at his keynote speech, and probably been waiting for too long in meet and greet. And when I was approaching him, I turned the power on, but I forgot to hit the record button. And I guess who notified me? Casey. He was like, dude, you're not even recording. I was like, oh shit. So whatever you guys see in this video, that was afterwards. And because I thought I was gonna film the approaching and the greeting, and then you know, film a little bit of whatever for this video. But then the approaching and the greeting was gone because of my stupid mistake. But man, I started making video in May, and the Casey was my inspiration to do all these kind of videos. And now it's December. I got a chance to meet him in person. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. Did today actually happen? My head is not working right now. Let me go back and look at all these footages.